So Elon Musk and Donald Trump are crippling national security. That's the subject of today's video, and these are the headlines. Musk aides lock government workers out of computer systems at U.S. agency. And they also have this. FBI agents are stunned by the scale of the expected Trump purge. Basically, he's getting rid of people at the FBI. And you have this. Trump officials target agents, prosecutors who worked on Trump investigations. Basically, anyone who ever investigated Trump, he's trying to eliminate. People who oppose Elon Musk, they're pushing out. And now there are effectively taking over computer systems and locking out civil servants from access. This is actually very serious issues. This is sort of why they need records of all of the government employees, have your addresses, these kind of things, track you. This is the report. It says Trump administration ordered 8 senior FBI employees to resign or be fired and asked for a list of agents and other personnel who worked on investigations into the January 6, 2021 attack at the U.S. Capitol. On Friday, the Justice Department also fired roughly 30 prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington. So they're doing all of these illegal things and trying to remove anyone who gets in their way. The problem is, I'm sure you guys there's a lot of problem with this, but the problem is that normally when a new administration comes in, you're not just going to fire all the experienced people. It's not like everyone at the FBI is just out to get you. They're just doing your job. It just turns out that you are a criminal. And I'm talking about Donald Trump, who is a felon. Regarding Elon Musk, he's doing a lot of illegal things. The thing that really alarmed me was that headline I just showed you guys where he's locking out people from access from their computers. And there's a lot to go through. I'll try my best to cover as much as I can. Regarding the FBI purge thing, many of the people at the FBI are already messaging each other, and leaks are coming out in terms of like everyone's in a state of like confusion and shock, and they're just worried. I mean, we all should be. On top of that, you have Trump. He just signed this really bizarre executive order. This is what it is. It's just happening today, January 31st. Fact sheet: President Donald J. Trump launches massive 10-to-1 deregulation initiative. And this is what he means by 10-to-1. Eliminating 10 regulations for each one new regulation issued, right? So the idea is that if I want to make a new regulation, I'm going to eliminate 10 regulations. It doesn't really make sense. It's not like regulations are one for one, but basically they want to deregulate all kinds of things. So what would be an example of something that we would probably want to keep, right? What's a regulation that would actually protect us? Well, read this headline. You'll kind of figure it out. Democrats want Trump to reveal he's giving security, who he's giving security clearances to without background checks. Okay, so the concern is that they're trying to rush in all these people, giving them security clearances to whatever top secret information, not doing the due diligence or FBI background checks. Right, like that's why you want people at the FBI. If you're handling sensitive documents, you want to make sure that everything is by the book, right? I'm not saying anything crazy. But obviously for Trump's and the Musk, the argument they're going to make is we got to come in, we got to do this as fast as we can. And if anyone stands in our way, you're fired, right? That's what they want to do. And so this would be the kind of regulation. And before Trump took power, there were all sorts of reports coming out that they wouldn't comply with things that pretty much everyone else complies. Basically, full transparency, who's coming in, who's going out of the White House, that kind of stuff, right? Just what I consider to be basic national security. There were always reports that Musk would just show up on Trump's calls with foreign leaders, which is always a bit weird. And I mean, if you want to call Musk a spy, you can, but I'll just say he has those kind of appearances, right? It's just this unelected, dude just is showing up on calls. We know that Trump and Musk, well, actually, I should say Musk. Who knows about the Trump situation? I'm just being honest with you. I want to make sure try to get this clear because there's a lot to go on. But we know that Musk has had secret phone calls with Putin. So I don't know if Trump has had secret phone calls with Putin or not. But we know Musk has. The crazy thing about Musk is he doesn't deny it. He just doesn't say anything about it, right? And so then we're all like been watching this. Okay, so why is this guy, hanging out in DC, buying a presidency? How is he not, being thrown out already? because essentially, right, you eliminate regulations and you eliminate the FBI, anyone could investigate him. And then what Musk is doing right now, he's hiring a bunch of basically lackeys and they're loyal people to him to come in, and they're trying to gain access to our systems in the government. Let me read the description of this stuff, and you guys can understand the seriousness of this. It says here, Elon Musk's friends have infiltrated another government agency. We're talking about the General Services Administrative Tech. The description says, Elon Musk minions, from trusted sidekicks to random college students and former Musk company interns, have taken over the General Service Administration, a critical government agency that manages federal offices and technology. Already, the team is attempting to use White House security credentials to gain an unusual access to GSA tech, deploying a suite of new AI software and recreating the offices in X's image. So people have also described this thing as being like a tech company takeover, right? Which kind of makes sense because that's sort of how Musk operates. Fire everyone that's not loyal, bring in your own people, etc. I'm sure you guys understand this. Usually you don't just fire government employees like this. Like, they have rights, there's legalities. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of lawsuits. There's also been reports, I've mentioned before, but I'll mention it again because now I'm seeing even more of this, to where people have been getting really bizarre spam type messages. So first there's I think it's 3 messages from the Office of Personal Management. So those ones look spammy, but they're actually real. And then there's other ones that just are very spammy in nature, say a lot of, we'll just say this, swear words, vulgar things, that kind of stuff, and kind of harassing people to, quit your job, essentially. What this amounts to is again, crippling the government and crippling national security. They're just trying to boot as many people as they can. When you read more details of this stuff, like for example, it says here, 2 officials spoke to Reuters on condition of anonymity for fear of retaliation, right? The systems, this is the ones that Musk are accessing. The systems include a vast database called Enterprise Human Resources Integration, which contains dates of birth, social security numbers, appraisals, home addresses, pay grades, and length of service of government workers. And here's a quote. We have no visibility into what they are doing with the computer systems. That is creating great concern. There is no oversight. It creates real cybersecurity hacking implications. So who knows who has access to this data? That's why I mentioned before where, people are already asking questions like, who are these people? Did you, pass security clearances, these kind of things? I am very leery of all the stuff that Musk and Trump are up to. I did not think we would see something like this, right? I thought maybe we see, corruption in terms of, hey, give Musk a bunch of contracts, that kind of stuff, give benefits to Tesla, but not like Musk comes in and starts, revoking people's access to, sensitive materials and computers, firing all of these people like so rapidly. And now we're talking about massive purges of the FBI. The report actually said they're trying to build a list of like all of these FBI agents that they want to get rid of. It's just crippling. This is crippling national security. I'll be perfectly frank. It's crippling national security. And they're going to use and this is something that you have to understand. Agents don't have, choices of which cases they work on. Just like, this is the crime. This is what's going on. Go investigate, right? It'd be like something like, just for example, imagine if a mafia boss in, whatever city, it doesn't matter. We'll say Chicago, or you can say Dallas. It doesn't matter. There's a mafia boss at Las Vegas, and, they commit a bunch of crimes. And, the police patrol is driving around and they get a call and say, hey, you have a break-in on, 5th Street or whatever. And it doesn't matter what city, it's all the same. If there's someone, police officers close to the area, they just go respond to that. And then the idea then would be the mafia boss becomes, mayor of the town. We'll use the example of Dallas. And then they're just like, oh, well, anyone who, arrested my, my minions for that break-in and entry, I'm going to go after you and fire you, right? It doesn't really make sense. It's just the police officers are doing their job. It's just right now, the only thing that really makes sense is that a felon is the president. That's what's going on. And then you have Musk, who has all this enormous control, who is treating this like a tech, hostile takeover thing. They're removing all sorts of experienced people. It's ridiculous. So I'll read some more of this, and you guys understand like the seriousness of this stuff. This is a quote that's coming from a GSA employee. I believe these people do not want to help the federal government provide services to the American people. They're acting like this is a takeover of a tech company. That's where I got that from someone who said that. The team appears to be carrying out Musk's agenda, slashing federal government as quickly as possible. There's a document, this is from Wire, they reported. They're currently targeting a 50% reduction in spending for every office managed by the GSA. So they, want to slash budgets. I keep reading though that they want to replace people with AI, with computers, essentially. I think there's all kinds of security problems with that. I'm sure you guys know. That's something that I've always been concerned about. It would say that the robotic, Teslas or whatever. If we end up going to say this, for example, let's say our whole government is all controlled by AI and all these cars are, driven around by robots and remotes and whatever. I mean, who's to say it's not going to be hacked, right? And then on top of that, you're again removing FBI agents. You're getting rid of senior officials. You remember Trump just had all the inspector generals fired of, I think it was 17 agencies. One, it was the one, it was, it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. I believe it was the USDA, and she refused to leave and then was escorted out. This is stuff that we're dealing with. I'll read you some more here. There also appears to be an effort to use IT credentials from the executive office. So, you're like, because how do you get access to these systems, right? So they're using IT credentials from the executive office of the president to access GSA laptops and internal GSA infrastructures. So for all we know, you have someone maybe who's not cleared is using someone else's clearance to get in, but we don't know. It's happening so fast. That's just what I'm reading here. It says, typically access to agency systems requires workers to be employed at such agencies, right? While Musk's team could be trying to obtain better laptops and equipment from GSA, sources fear that the mandate laid out in the DOGE executive order, right? So Trump just orders this existence of this new DOGE thing, that's the Musk stuff, would grant the body broad access to GSA systems and data. That includes sensitive procurement of data internal to all systems and services GSA offers, and internal monitoring software to surveil GSA employees as part of a normal auditing and security processes. So the surveillance thing caught my attention. That's why I'm mentioning it. There's a bunch in here that's really disturbing about this stuff. And again, I remember Musk was having, and I'm not just making random stuff. That's why I always have to point out, like, it's not just random stuff I'm making up. Like, these secret conversations with Putin was a national security threat, right? On top of that, what they're doing is they're stripping away security details from people who Trump doesn't like. So, for example, this was just a headline today. Hegseth strips retired General Miley of security detail. So this is someone that Trump doesn't like. So we'll just take away your security detail. My understanding is I think they've removed security from Dr. Fauci. There could be other people that are also, basically these people normally you would have security. Okay, I'll make it really blunt. And effectively, again, you're crippling the safety of several people, and you're firing anyone with any experience. On top of that, there's the control of information. You have this Zuckerberg, I guess, and Facebook are get involved with this stuff. So this is the headline. I know it's a lot to go over, but we got to go the best I can to try to keep you guys informed. It says Zuckerberg reassures Meta staff about company values after dramatic policy shifts. So basically, Zuckerberg comes out and has this, all hands on deck kind of stuff. And people are concerned, like, why are you working with Trump? This is the quote here, okay? It says, in a company-wide meeting, Zuckerberg told employees that 2025 would be a big year for resetting our relationship with governments around the world, okay? Here's the quote. We now have an opportunity to have a productive partnership with the United States government, and we're going to take it. That's according to Zuckerberg. We're not going to compromise any of our principles or values over this. And then on top of that, they say if you leak anything to the press of what's going on inside the company, you'll be fired. So there's that. There's also an attack on NPR and PBS. So what they're doing is, like I said, it's a control of information. They don't want the FBI investigating them. Now they don't want media to investigate them. I just told you guys in the last video, they're replacing traditional media, inviting like basically a bunch of TikTokers and right-wing, influencers. So to say, hey, if you want to come and cover the White House stuff, you can. And so that they're, getting rid of anyone who asks any tough questions. On top of that, I mean, there's a lot. I guess now they're trying to access information of children in the immigrant database. So these are minors. And for me, there's a lot of stuff in here that really upsets me. I'll just be frank. For this one here, this would have impacted me directly. If you don't know, I'm a refugee from Vietnam. And so my particular status, even though I was brought to the USA by the Air Force, which is a whole other story you can read about in my book if you like. But I had unclear status. I'll just put it that way. And it was like that for many years because our system is convoluted, right? And it wasn't any choice of mine as a baby, essentially, to be brought over by the Air Force. I had no choice in the matter. And so, the stuff that they're talking about doing with children, you're talking about kids are probably, the USA is the only country that they've ever known. So I find that deeply troubling. There's a lot of things that are troubling. I just said this particular one, that would have affected me directly. So there's that. And then on top of that, we have another plane crash. I don't know if any of this stuff is related to, cutting regulations or distracting federal employees from like, hey, are we all getting fired or what are we doing? But there's another crash in Philadelphia. This is what we're facing. Trump is also saying, hey guys, which I mentioned in the last video, we're going to be doing tariffs, right? And now there's fears of trade war around the world. Already Canada might hit back hard. We'll see. This is one of the candidates for prime minister. So she was saying, I guess she's working as the finance minister, but she was saying, hey, we gotta hit the billionaire baddies. And what she's proposing is 100% tariff on Tesla. And my feelings on that is yes, hit Tesla 100%, hit them where it hurts in their pocketbook. If you want to remove the power of Elon Musk, right? Frankly, just boycott his products. This is something that may happen around the world, and I think sort of why Musk has retreated into politics, etc., is because he knows that Tesla is failing. He's like, I'm rotating into something else, and now he's kind of, I'm not sure where to say it. How about this? He's an addict, essentially. I'll put it that way. And he's addicted to any number of things, right? It's not just substances. You call it, addicted to social media or addicted to power. Just he has that kind of personality to just addicted to things. And when you see all these reports coming down, that someone who really doesn't understand the fundamentals of running a country, that's what we're talking about here. In a way that's beneficial to everyone, not just beneficial to him and his billionaire buddies. These are the kind of things that happen. Will your daily lives change from all this stuff? I don't know. I'll just be frank. I don't know. What I do know is that, like, if you start removing the kind of things that we have in place for reasons, things will break. So for example, let's say we don't have any clean water standards or clean air standards. You will find noticeable differences in your air and water quality. I'm just putting real life perspectives. Or let's say we remove any sort of enforcement on insider trading, these kind of things, right? And I know I'm just talking about just government regulations because Musk and Trump's hate this stuff, but it effectively affects your retirement, where some people will benefit way more from the markets and things than you will, right? You'll see greater divides between rich and poor. There's any number of things, be it, companies will have more monopolies, that kind of thing. So it'll push out the little companies. Government, regulators are there for a purpose to make sure things operate fairly. You want the FBI there to investigate things if people are doing things wrongly. But that's what they want to limit. They want to eliminate any of this stuff. And then you have the national security concerns, where who's getting access to all this public servant information. I'm concerned about all of these things. And we're going to keep tracking this. I didn't think it would go down in this way. To be perfectly frank, I just didn't. I thought, okay, Musk is going to get government contracts, but not like, fire people in this way, take over computer systems, try to quickly replace it all with his AI stuff. I had a hunch that was kind of the direction it would go, but just not in this way so quickly. And it's deeply concerning because if you know anything about Musk, it's move fast, break things. That's essentially what it's all about. So anyway, I do appreciate your time, and I want to hear your thoughts on this one, and I'll catch you on the next video.